Hi there, welcome to Subpar Stitches. My name is Hillary and this is my Flosstube. And I would like us all to collectively pretend like you can't see the giant mess behind me on my desk. I'm doing a deep clean of my apartment this weekend and this room will finally be clean, in theory. So, just pretend like you can't see everything in a pile. Also, I'm sitting really weird. I'm like sitting on the chair like it's like a horse saddle. What is going on? Okay, so this Flosstube has been 2 weeks since my previous one, which means it's covering April 2nd to the 16th, which is today. Yes, so you'll see everything for those 2 weeks, and I got one finish and a few whips, but I've just mostly been working on some of the same stuff that you guys have seen in the past, but I've been making pretty significant progress. I don't have any shout outs because I'm still working through the backlog of my Flosstube playlist. I made some good headway today. I decided I've got like 5 videos from some of the same creators, so I was just like, all right, you know what, let me just watch the most recent video. That'll catch me up. So I did cut down on some of that, but I've also just been like feeling a little sicky this week, so I just haven't been as motivated to, I don't know why this correlates, but I just haven't been as motivated to look for new creators. I just want the same like comfortable, like I know these people kind of thing. So no shout outs. But like I said, I do have a finish, an FO, a finished object, which you guys saw if you looked at the thumbnail before clicking this video. And this is Beloved by Running with Needle and Scissors. I did not stitch the whole thing, actually. The pattern's right here. So you can see like the entire thing has like this huge border going around it. I chose to only stitch the birds. This is like a big old pattern book. Just throw that on the pile, it's fine. And this took me a lot longer than I had anticipated, just because a lot of stuff was going crazy at work, and then it was so many colors. It's a paper pattern. It was just like a lot of things. But I am so happy with this. I stitched it with all DMC on a 32 count even weave by Bestitch Me that was just called 207. I do wish that I had categorized this as a medium rather than a small, even though it fits the small criteria stitch count wise, just because I think this would have been easier in a hoop at home, in a stand where I could just spread everything out. I'd really ideally like to find like either an octagonal or like a round kind of like wooden frame to go around it, because I think that would look like just something more natural looking. I think it would look beautiful. And then the eyes, if you guys can see, the eyes are actually beads. That's what was called for. It was like Mill Hill beads. There were, I think, 3 anchor flosses that were called for in this, but I just pulled the DMC equivalents and just did that. The more I look at this, the more I'm like so in love with this style that I never ever thought I would have a desire to stitch. And now I'm on the hunt for more patterns in like this similar style. I know Phoebe Moon calls it painterly style. I don't know if that's like the official name. I did get like, it got all dirty on the edge here. So I don't know if I can take like a damp cloth and just, you guys can't really see it on camera, but I can see like a clear line where the hoop was and then where my hand was just like holding it. So I don't know if I could take like a damp rag and like wipe at it, because this is like a, you know, hand-dyed fabric and I'm worried about the colors running. Or if I could find a hoop that's tight. I don't think I can find a hoop that's tight enough that it would cover that. But yeah, I want to find more patterns in this style. So I've been eyeing a couple of Reflet de Soie patterns, but I'm kind of holding off on pulling the trigger on those until I can really decide, do I want to do that? Because I know that I will want to do them in the called for Soie d'Alger. And I looked, and Soie d'Alger is $5.50, I think. Yeah, $5.50 a skein. So I need to be like 100% committed to whatever pattern I choose if I go the Soie d'Alger route. But if you guys know of other designers that do these kind of like, almost looks like an acrylic painting type of pattern, let me know, because I would love to do some more like this. And you know what we're gonna do? Throw it on the pile. I would have had some FFOs, but actually I wouldn't have been able to show you because I need to FFO my Stitch North table gift. and I tried and I failed. So it's back to the drawing board, and this weekend my plan is to like actually figure it out and get it done because Stitch North is at the end of the month and I need to get them done. So I don't have any new starts, but again, like Stitch North's coming, and I know that me and my friends are probably going to start like 9 things because that's what we do, and then we always regret it and we're like, why do we do this? And then at the next retreat we do it all over again. So let's move right into whips. So you guys know, first whip I'm going to show you is, of course, the Epic Pokemon Generation 1 by Lord Libidin. I've been chugging away at this. I've been working hard, and I'm so close. This is on an 18 count White Ada by Kato, and I'm just using all DMC. I believe it's 105 colors total, and I'm whittling away at the colors because I've been color completing this last section, and I've preferred it like that. It's been a lot better. Every color that's left has less than 300 stitches, but more than 100 stitches. So I've been coming at both ends. I've been doing like the most stitches and then like some of the least stitches, and then I'll go and do some of the most stitches, and I've just been kind of like closing the gap there. But here is where I got to last night. So you can see pretty much everything. I've got less than 6,000 stitches to go. I'm kind of in shock. My goal is 2,000 stitches a week, and usually I can bang that out in 3 days, but I don't know if it's just been like because I've been feeling like garbage this week, or just because like, you know, there's just so little left. But I was only able to get like 1,600 stitches in 3 days, so I will need to finish those last 400-ish stitches this weekend in order to stay on track to finishing when I plan to finish. So no big deal. I can do that. I can squeeze it in. Some of my other projects might take the hit on that, but that's okay because this is my oldest whip and it is my largest whip. And not only is it my largest whip, but it's the largest project I've ever started. It's 115,200 stitches. So I'm kind of like excited and scared to get it done. I don't know why I'm scared. I think it's because I know that the cost of framing this is going to be astronomical. So, but I'm excited to finish it and then show my dad. So yeah, it's crazy. Like the only big white area left is here in Wigglytuff. So I got Jigglypuff, and then Wigglytuff I still haven't hit all those colors yet, but I almost did last night. So probably one of the next ones that I'll work on. But it's crazy. It's crazy. I can't believe it. So for the large projects, I work on after work, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then on my medium projects, I give them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So next we have my medium project, which is Candy by Whittier Stitches. Here's what it looked like the last time. And I'm stitching this on a 28 count Sapphire Even Weave by Fiber on a Whim. This uses both DMC and Kryneck, and I did put some of the Kryneck in. I know the last time I said, oh, I'm going to do, like, my goal was to work on some of the backstitch, but as that was coming out of my mouth, I was like, I'm lying. I'm 100% lying. Like, I'm not going to do that. I was like, I shouldn't save all this backstitch to the end, but I definitely will. And then my husband saw it in the stand, and he was like, what is that shrimp you're stitching? It was her arm. So I was like, okay, I guess I do have to go put some of the backstitch in, because if my husband's like calling her arm, he said her arm looked like a shrimp. I was like, that is so rude. But so I did get some of the backstitch in. So I put in like the whole moon here, the couple of, I don't know what side's on what, a couple of these stars, these big black stars, those are Kryneck. And then you can see I got her face backstitched, and then her whole arm out of defiance of my husband. And then that's kind of where I stopped because I still had some more to fill in down there. And then I started the weird, mysterious second moon that's over here. And there's a dog that's what I'll be working on this weekend, because somewhere in the moon, I can't remember if I added a row or went one row less. I think I went one row less because like the dog is like squashed a little bit just by one row. So I'm going to try and fudge it the best that I can so that I don't have to rip out all that moon stitching. I don't think you'll be able to tell. And then there are some leafy bits that are like kind of trailing over here. So once I finish the dog and the moon and everything on that side, I'm going to come over here and do all those leafy bits, and then I will finish with the bottom of the dress, because the bottom of the dress is going to be quick. It's big, but it's like a lot of color block. So it'll be easy, not so spindly like the leaves. And I know that as soon as I finish her, I'll be like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to do anymore. Because I feel like for me, once I finish the biggest part of the project, I'm like, why isn't this done? Like, this should be done. It's done, right? But it's not. So I'm about, I don't know, like a third of the way, I think, because the bottom of her dress is dense. But my goal for the next 2 weeks is to finish this and do all the back stitching on the dog, come over and do the leaves, and then if I still have some extra time, I will start filling in the dress and doing some of the back stitch that's through here. And then the very last step that I will do once all the regular stitches are done is I will go in and put the beads in, which you can see. This is why he thought it was a shrimp, because there's these like almost like segmented pieces. But once I'm done, that will be like all beaded. So, but it was weird. I don't know. Is anybody else like this where like you'll do like back stitching and you'll look at it and you'll be like, my God, this looks horrible. It doesn't look anything like the picture. And then you wait some time, and then the next day you look at it and you're like, oh, that's actually fine. Because like when I backstitched your face, I was like, this looks horrible. I can't get this right. And then I was like, I'm just gonna leave it. And then I came back the next day and looked at it. I was like, that looks fine. Like, why was I whining? So I don't know. Maybe I'm just too critical, or maybe I was just looking at it for too long. Up next is my small project, and I work on this at work during my downtime and my lunch, Monday through Friday, or I guess whenever I'm at work, which is usually Monday through Friday. And this is Coffee and Eggs by the Artsy Housewife. I'm stitching it on a 36 count doubloon by Picture This Plus, and I opted to go the full DMC route. It does use fancy floss, but I was like, Artsy Housewife has some dense projects, and I don't have the fancy floss funds for that right now. But here's where I was the last time, and this one I've been speeding through it. So even though I categorize this as a small, I was just guessing because I have a paper pattern. But Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe did tell me how many stitches were in it, and it's like just over 10,000, which over 10,000 is my threshold for a medium project. But I figured because this is so color blocky, I don't mind that it's small. And honestly, I feel like I'm going through this one faster than I was going through Beloved. So here it's really crunched up from being in the hoop, but here is where I got to. I would have finished the woman, like you can see there's some spots in her dress, but I ran out of the floss that I had been using, but I really wanted to stitch these eggs, so I was like, I better come down here. And then, so yeah, I ran out of that, but I have an extra skein in my backup box that I just have like extras of. So I will finish that, and then I'm trying to decide, do I come over and do the big chicken next, or do I do all like the little stuff below it? I don't know. I really want to stitch that big old chicken, and it is dense, so like maybe next week I can knock the whole chicken out or most of the chicken. But yeah, this is really fun. I like the color scheme. They had recommended for this like lighter green that even if you use the DMC conversion to use, I think it's Peapod, use the fancy floss, but I was just like, again, I'm not going to order one fancy floss right now. So I'm satisfied with the way it looks. I'm really happy with like the DMC conversion and my fabric choice and all that. And I like her little red shoes there that I put in today. I'm enjoying this, and like today I put in over 600 stitches, and I was just like, how did I do that? Like, and I was doing my whole job too. I was just like, how did I do all my work and help train a guy and do a job interview for somebody and put in 600 stitches? Like, that's how Speedy Gonzalez this one is. And then the last project I have to show you is, oh, there's a hanging thread. This is Nature's Journey Sal by Sprouting Lupine. I'm stitching this on a 36 count cold foam even weave by Bestitch Me, and I'm using all the called for DMC. I am excited because today is Thursday, which is the day that I assigned to this. I'm only stitching on this once a week. And I'm only doing the spring section while we're in spring, and then once I finish it, I'll put it away, and I will start the summer section on the first day of summer. So here is where I got to. I didn't get very far last week. I was just like really tired, and I just wasn't able to put in a ton of stitches. I did get these little like flowers here. I put in this little butterfly, and then because I had this color out, I started like these flowers down here. And then you can see I like started to do this leaf, and I didn't even finish it. I was just like, we got hanging thread here. So that's probably where I'll pick up when I'm done doing this and I eat dinner. So, but I'm obsessed with this project. It has a lot of colors, a lot of color changes, but it's really, really enjoyable. And I can't wait to get into the summer portion, because like I feel like once you see how it all blends together kind of seamlessly, it's gonna be really fun. And that is all of my stitching. I do have other crafts, my scarf that I've been knitting, but it's in another room and I just can't be bothered to go get it. But rest assured, I'm on the final page, so hopefully by the next time I'll be able to show you the finished product the finished project, and then I will be gifting it to my brother. As far as haul goes, my dad got me this tiny toolbox. Look at this little toolbox. It's so cute. I don't know if I like psyoped him into this, but I keep telling him, I'm like, oh, these are so cool. They're so cute. Look at all the colors. And then he bought me some tools because he's been on like a weird tool kick lately. And he was like, they're having a sale. And I was like, okay, well, it was more like, they're having a sale on tools, because he has a mustache. And so when he was like, send me a picture of your current tools and I'll see what you need, and then I'll get you, anything that might be good on sale. So he got me a ratchet set, but then he also got me this little like mini toolbox just for no reason. He was just like, I just saw it and it was purple and I thought you needed it. So I feel like I can put like stitchy stuff in here. I don't know what yet, but I feel like this will be great. And I really like this because like my dad is not like a big, like, he didn't grow up in a big like gift giving household. So he's never been like just randomly always gifting. My mom was always like the random gifter, but my dad doesn't typically like just buy gifts for no reason outside of like a few very specific things. And so like whenever he does, I'm like, I really treasure it because I'm just like, oh, he really, really thought of me with this. So the fact that he got me the purple cute toolbox that I've been yammering on about to him, I love it. As far as plans go, I think my next video will probably have to be in 3 weeks unless I find the time to squeeze one in, just because Stitch North, like I said, is at the end of the month. So I'll be driving up to Canada, be swinging by the Detroit airport to pick up my friend Tara, and she's going to keep me company and try to make sure that I don't get detained at the border, because for some reason I love doing that. I panic when they ask me questions. I don't know why. I don't even panic. My brain just goes blank. I'm just like, what? Whenever I go abroad by plane, no problem. Customs, a breeze. I'm great at it. For some reason, driving through up to Canada, every time I'm just like, why are you asking me this? We're basically the same. Like, I don't know. I did get detained at the border once as a child, but that was because my parents could not prove that we were their children. I'm going to keep working on my current rotation. I know to Stitch North, I'm definitely going to bring coffee and eggs, and I'll have to bring the Nature's Journey Sal. And I'll probably bring candy, and I'm hoping I can finish Pokemon before, so that I don't have to drag that whole big thing in, because it's a huge hoop. Like, I don't want to deal with that. So if I can finish Pokemon before that, that would be ideal. Otherwise, I'll just bring it and finish it there. And then as I've been thinking, once I finish Pokemon, I might take like a 1 week break from large projects just as like a palette cleanser, and then work on like whatever projects calls to me in that time. I've been dying to put some more work in on my Monopoly board, so like that's a thought. But I'm still deciding. I'll feel it out once I finish Pokemon. So now let's go into reading, watching, playing. That was all the stitching, all the stitchy stuff. So like if you don't care about anything else, then later. But yeah, reading, watching, playing. I have listened to 3 books since the last time, and I liked all three for once. I liked them. I finally liked the book. It's been a while, apparently. Feel like I've finally acclimated myself to audiobooks, because before I was just like, I hated them. I was against them. Not against them, but like, I just couldn't focus, couldn't pay attention. I finally hit that spot where I'm like, okay, I can pay attention to this. And if I'm like finding myself drifting, I'm like, okay, let me pause it and we'll pick back up later. So I finished An Offer from a Gentleman by Julia Quinn, which is, what is that, book 3 of the Bridgerton series. And I didn't get why there were so many negative feelings online towards season 4 of Bridgerton. But then I listened to the book and I was just like, oh, I can see why people were like not obsessed with it. Because like the book was just way better. The show made like some of the characters way more sympathetic than I would have liked. And then Sophie's dad in the book to me came off as just like an asshole. Like he sucked. And in the show they were kind of like, well, he kind of sucked, but he was also kind of good. And he like cared about her, but you know, he had to keep his distance from her. But in the book it felt like he was just like, well, she's here, I guess I gotta feed her, but that's it. Like, I don't know. I mean, dowry or no, I feel like Sophie's dad sucked. But yeah, I thought the book was pretty good. And then I also finished, because I saw that the next one was Penelope's story, and her season was my favorite of Bridgerton. So I really didn't understand why people were like, oh, like a lot of people just were like, I hated that season. I didn't think it was very good. For me, it was my favorite because I was just like, we love a thick girl. And that actress is beautiful. But that book was called Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, also by Julia Quinn. And when I listened to the book, I was like, oh my God, Netflix took crazy liberties. Like, I really liked the book, and I still really like that season, but I felt like the book and the show like were very, very different in a lot of ways. Like, in the show, there was a like almost like rival love interest, and in the book, that, unless I didn't listen right, because that's possible, like there was no rival love interest. But I also really liked that it was so different, because I felt like I was getting a different story. It wasn't just like I was listening to the show as a book, you know? So I was happy with that. And now that means that the next book, I believe, is Eloise's story. And so I'm really excited to put a hold on that one when I get some hold space freed up on my apps, because I don't know anything. I'm going in blind. So this will be the first one of the stories where I don't know like any of the backstory or anything like that. I haven't seen the show, so I don't have any details. And Eloise is such a kind of like mysterious character when it comes to like romance. So it'll be cool to see how her story plays out. And then I listened to this book called The Mad Wife by Megan Church. This one was a little bit on the slow side, but it wasn't slow in a bad way. Like, it kept building up this tension where I was just like, oh, even though it's like, it doesn't seem like much is going on, I still want to see what's going on next. And there was a really, really unexpected twist in like the third quarter, I would say, of the book. And I was just like, oh, wait, what? But the ending, like there was like a secondary kind of twist that part was kind of like, I was like, okay, that part fell flat for me. But overall, I really enjoyed this book. And I felt like it was a nice kind of view on, so it takes place in, I believe, like the 50s, and she's like a 50s housewife, and you know the expectations that come with that, where it's like you're following this cleaning schedule, you got to keep your house perfect, you got to have dinner on the table when your husband comes home, you have to look a certain way, you always have to be made up, and you know all that stuff. And it just kind of talks about the pressures of that, and it kind of brings in like a medical element where she feels like she's going kind of mad, kind of crazy. And so she sees the doctor, and the doctor's like, oh, this is just what happens to housewives, don't worry. And it just kind of touches on how like women's medical ailments are not taken as seriously. I mean, I don't think that it goes like, I don't feel like it delves super deep into that, but it's definitely highlighted in the book. And I did like the story. So it wasn't very long. I think the read time was like 8 hours or something like that. So if you want a kind of interesting story set in that kind of realm, check it out. just been watching The Pit as it comes out. The more I watch it, the more I'm like, this show's not very good, which is probably blasphemous to say, but I feel like they're way too heavy-handed with their lessons, so to speak. They're like, ice is bad. And I'm like, yeah, we know. And they're like, we need to treat unhoused people like humans. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. Like, but I guess maybe some people don't, so we need to say it so blatantly. I don't know. But I love medical slop. So I'm going to keep watching it. I think the last episode comes out tonight for season 2. So I'll watch that tomorrow because it airs at 9 and my bedtime's at 10. And so me and my husband are hanging out before that, and he talks through every show, movie, video you watch, and I want to hear the dialogue. So I'll watch it tomorrow when he's doing something. And then as far as playing goes, I've been playing Raccoon, and that was the worst purchase of my life because I literally lose time playing this game. Like, I sit down, like, what was it? On Good Friday, I came home, and I took a half day because I was like, nobody else is working. I'm leaving. So I took a half day, came home, downloaded the game. Suddenly, I get home at like 12:30. Suddenly it's 8 p.m. And I was like, what? What happened? Where am I? Who am I? I get too locked into that game, and it's a problem. So I've banned myself from playing on weeknights. I can only play it on the weekend. Otherwise, I'm not going to get anything done. So I'm looking forward to playing it this weekend. If you don't like coin pusher games, you won't like it. But if you're obsessed with coin pusher games to a ridiculous degree in the way that I am, where you could easily drop hundreds of dollars in an arcade on a coin pusher game, you might like this because you only have to spend the money one time. But anyways, I have not eaten a substantial meal in 2 days because we ran out of groceries. I'm starving, and Rob is coming home with groceries. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go eat. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you in either 2 or 3 weeks. It's still a mystery. And if you guys are going to Stitch North as well, I think it's the first weekend. It's the one at the very end of the month that leads into May 1st. So let me know in the comments. Maybe we can say hi to each other or something. We could like wave from across the room. That'd be cool. Okay, I have to go. Goodbye.